Alright, making a video. Kind of nihilist subject, I would imagine. There was some nihilist in the comments section, and my people took care of it. Alexander guy, I guess. Some guy called John Newman. But just this whole silly notion that they really don't get this whole kernel of value thing. It just kind of goes over their head, I guess. I don't know. That feeling is a feeling is a feeling is a feeling. The whole Horton here's a who kind of thing. It doesn't matter how, it's a black person feeling or a white person feeling or a green person feeling, a big person, little person. It just doesn't matter. Feelings are feelings are feelings are feelings. Suffering is suffering is suffering is suffering. And this really has nothing to do with your subjective wants and desires and blah 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 blah. It has to do with a whole equation that decides what happens as a consequence of the fulfillment of certain ambitions or the existence of certain entertainments. You could even argue there's entertainments out there that we've rationally decided were too expensive, like feeding silly people to lions. Christians, whatever the modern equivalent is of the useless internet trolls, for example, and that this was somehow too expensive. Obviously, I guess if you're feeding the right people to the lions, it's probably a good deal both ways, fun to watch, and very effective in terms of saving your civilization. But regardless, the point is it was understood to be too expensive, that the suffering of the victims and all that kind of stuff was more expensive, more costly, so to speak, in terms of a bad thing, than the value of the silly entertainment, which really was just an excuse to eat popcorn and stuff, and that almost you could put on any show and it wouldn't really matter because people were just showing up to eat snacks. That kind of thing. Well, anyway. So yeah, there are these idiots, these fucking stupid bastards that probably should be also fed to lions. They're just too stupid. I mean, if you think your consciousness is doing something magically important and all the other consciousnesses are doing something magically unimportant, that's just stupid. Really fucking stupid. Incredibly fucking stupid. So we have this John Doe asshole and then the misery me guy. I'm not going to bother with this video to inmendham, right? He makes a post video essentially pretending like, yes, well, I guess I will let inmendham know after I have done this conversion thing that I'm doing this conversion thing, and that'll be counted as being considerate and respectful of this relationship over time. I mean, I'm showing my respect for him by after I stick a knife in his butt. Yeah, I'm going to inform him later. Oh, I plan on later on sticking a knife in your butt, okay? I mean, it just really doesn't mean anything, right? I mean, and if this wasn't just about some kind of self-indulgence, like I'm just not feeling important enough now, and, I need emotional blah, 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 and I don't, why would you even need to do this, right? I mean, if all of a sudden I decided not to be vegetarian or vegan, I don't think I'd have to make an announcement. I would just make videos about how good it is to eat animals or something. I would just do my agenda. I don't really need to make some kind of announcement that I've once again changed my philosophy. Yes, I'm listed under gurus. Yes, I'm a guru who just is kind of gooey about the whole guru thing. Like, I really don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I'll change my mind whenever I feel like it. Okay? But I'm going to make videos arguing points of view that I don't hold very reliably. Great idea. That's so special. Well, anyway, that whole, the whole pretending to be considerate, I mean, that was just a little bit so self-indulgent. But the logic was just so vacuous. I don't find anything in your philosophy to really disagree with rationally. I just think everybody ought to be able to be irrational without anybody pointing their finger and going, that asshole's irrational. Like, there's nothing dangerous in a bunch of idiotic, unrealistic, nonsensical, fucktarded notions of reality. So anyway, getting to the point, His new video is called Humans Are Not Robots. Like he's going to somehow be able to break the cause and effect chain with some sort of magical knowledge of the spiritual blah blah. No, you're not going to do that. Everything that you are as a byproduct, jackass. If you play the pianos, it's because you fucking goddamn sat at a piano and practiced playing one. That's how it works. And if you're a psychotic lunatic and a neurotic weirdo asshole, it's because somebody made you that way by fucking bludgeoning you with all kinds of psychological trauma. That's how it happens. There's causes and then there's effects. Causes, effects, causes, effects, cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. That's how the system works. If you think it works some other way, you're stupid and pretty much retarded. And pretty much, in my opinion, a threat to civilization, because you probably don't even know where to poo. I mean, it's really a fundamental thing, cause and effect. You just can't go against that one and get away with it. Yeah, sorry. It's just bullshit. So anyway, then there's this nihilist cunt. Just stupid. Nothing is important or has any value by itself. So he's basically arguing there's no intrinsic value. So if I took suffering, a suffering rat, a suffering brain, and I put it into space, and it's floating around in space all by itself, just going, ow, 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 that hurts like hell, ow, 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 ow. That's all it's doing. This asshole will say, no problem. Make a bunch of those. It doesn't matter. You can make as many little sentient beings as you want, and you can torture them as much as you want, as long as one sentient being can't see the other sentient being. So as long as they're in black painted jars and can't see the other suffering beings, it's all okay, because then nobody's recognizing anybody else's suffering, and therefore it doesn't exist, right? No, that's stupid. It's fucking idiotic. Yes. Conscious unpleasantness, however it manifests in you, it manifests in all sentient beings in some form or other, fact, is bad, intrinsic, fundamentally, in and of itself. And if you don't think so, you're fucking stupid. Okay, too fucking stupid. Anyway. But that doesn't mean that the relative values don't matter. Well, of course it does. If the 1 doesn't have the value 1, then it doesn't matter what you multiply or plus. It doesn't matter. 3 of them or 5 of them or 10 of them. If the 1 has no mass, then none of them have any mass. Any of your mathematics and your dividing and your equals, it all doesn't mean a goddamn fucking thing if there's no kernel. If there's no mass to any of these numbers, if none of these numbers have numberness, then there is no numberness. It's just silly to sit there and say, oh, my silly feelings matter, but all the other feelings don't matter. That's just insanely psychotic. And you're psychotic. If you think your feelings matter, you think your suffering matters, you think torture matters, you think anything matters because it happens to you, and it doesn't matter when it happens elsewhere, then you're stupid as fuck. Anyway, let's play a little bit of this fucktarded crap. I will skip the preliminary bibble babble and try to get to some place where he starts saying something.
A wall, for example, right? I said that I don't see a difference there, and he said that this difference is the most important difference, and that this is the difference where...
Yes, I'm saying, look, you can tell the difference between a brain, billions of neurons doing this thing that's creating this illusion of, whoa, I feel, and I do. It's a fact. I'm having the manifestation of it. It's taking the fuck place inside my brain. It's manifesting it. It's making it. And frankly, that's what the brain had to do to turn into a learning machine. It couldn't teach itself. It had to be taught by a program that had a whip. So it had to make a reward and punishment device before it could make a logic device. Fact.
Value comes from. And
the really cool thing is, right, I have become so irrelevant. I pointed to this guy's video, right, made a video response, and left his video in the description, and he got exactly 0 subscribers. I mean, I subscribed for one day, and then I figured, oh, he's an asshole. I found out it's no point in talking to this retard. But anyway, I mean, no subscribers. He got 0 subscribers. As me making a response video got him 0 subscribers. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of a response video that a person got 0 subscribers out of the deal. I mean, considering I have 9,909 or whatever subscribers, it's just amazing that not one of them leaked over here. Not one. I mean, that's a pretty... that's shit. YouTube has changed.
To a certain degree, I sure see that difference, and I think everybody does, because it's obvious that a human being or any other animal is pretty much not the same than a fucking walrus.
Okay, well, you say that, and now you're going to say exactly the opposite, and that's the amazing part where it just stuns my brain. You say, yes, I acknowledge the difference, and now I'm going to try to make the difference go away, okay, because I'm going to pretend 1 doesn't mean anything, and 2-ness doesn't mean anything, and 3-ness doesn't mean anything, and therefore there's no such thing as any of these nesses, because I'm going to sit there and say it's all 1s, and the 1s themselves are made out of, I don't know, soup, so therefore they're not 1. Because it's 1 soup, it's not a 1. Or whatever you're going to do. I'm just saying this reductionism to a point where you just break the language, and then by breaking the language you decide, now I don't have to connect this to that. I don't have to take cause and connect it to effect. I don't have to concede that the effect actually exists and that's part of the function. The fact that I have a brain means the brain does something. That's why there's 100 billion neurons. It's because it's doing something. And for you to say those neurons don't exist anymore because I'm just going to look at atoms and molecules and electrons, well, that's just fucking stupid. And it's stupid. No, the brain still exists, okay? You can analyze the quanta of the brain and then pretend, well, I don't see it in the quanta. Doesn't matter whether you see it there or not. The fact is, if you look, you can see it there.
Which just stands there without doing anything. But yeah, from the first kind of approach, it's obvious that it's not the same. But from a more deep, if you take a deeper look into it.
Right. So it's being deeper to ignore the existence of something. So to say that it exists, it's there, it happens. There's no doubt about that I'm forming sentences, that the sentences have a certain passion tied to them because there's a certain sensation tied to them, and all that stuff. You're just saying, I'm just going to pretend that doesn't exist. And so I put the little suffering mouse inside of a jar, let's say, the black jar in space. And all you're doing is saying, well, look, the mouse is made of the same protons and electrons that the glass is made out of. So I'm just going to pretend the mouse is made out of glass. And you're saying that's being honest to the truth. No, it isn't. That's being dishonest. That's not thinking deeper. That's thinking shallower. I mean, when you make the things that exist go away, it's the same thing as creating ghosts or UFOs. It's a lie, fuckhead. It's that simple. You're just fucking looking for a fucking excuse to fucking evade reality, asshole.
And it was more philosophical and...
Right, it's more philosophical to pretend something that absolutely does happen doesn't happen. Let's pretend the thing that absolutely does happen. I am conscious, I am talking, I am braining, and you're just going to pretend my brain's a glass of water. Well, fuck you! You're going to call that philosophy. That's not philosophy. That's fucking cuntery.
More materialistic. I really don't see the difference.
Okay, I really don't see a difference. I don't know. Okay, it doesn't matter what something is. Something is dog shit, something is water, something is mountains, something is trees, something is sky. I don't see any difference. It's all the moon, is the earth, is the sun, is the universe. It all this nothing is something. Why don't you just make nothing into something, right? If you're gonna go that far, why don't you pretend atoms don't exist? Why don't you say the electrons themselves don't really exist? They're no different than the empty space. Idiot. I mean, this is just stupid. Alright, enough of that for now anyway. Maybe we'll come back to that. I don't know. We'll just see how this goes. I'm just so sick of this shit. This made up crap. To evade. That's all it is. It's a fucking huge evasion.
Okay, so I wasn't really thinking about making a response. But
yes, whatever. That's the typical line I'll just say now, right? I wasn't a but here's a stick to stick in your ass.
I decided to just talk about this because I think it's important to have this discussion. So this is sort of in response to some of the comments Inmendham made in his WTF number 455. Doing bad math isn't good determinism. So,
Tedious.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk about the concept of the limit of reason or the limit of logic.
Okay, so right there. I mean, why would we think that there's any limit to our ability to observe and describe? And that there's any limit to the fact that we can mechanically understand the frames move. The video has a frame rate. See, the video is really just images. That's all it is. Images. Image, 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 image. And slight changes in each image. And that's the universe is doing that. It's running a frame by frame reality. And we have an ability to see some of that directly, but we can certainly understand it conceptually. And there's no limit to that.
And how? So this is just I haven't really written anything down. So I'm just going off the top of my head, just sort of like a feedback. So there's an...
Yes, wonderful, fantastic. So on top of being wishy-washy, you're going to be sloppily so. I'll do it in a nice sloppy manner. So you're doing sloppy wishy-wash. Fun. It's all fun, isn't it?
Not going to be a perfect video, you know. This is just me talking.
I don't think there was much chance of that, so it's not my expectation. Trust me.
And I think I should have the right to talk.
You have a right to talk, but I'm just saying that you have to recognize a context here. And it's like I have a right to say, you know what? Yeah. I'd rather have a piece of dog shit in my living room, because once I throw it out of my living room, it stays the fuck out. I don't like things that morph into dog shit. I don't like to buy something and you put it on your shelf and all of a sudden it turns into dog shit. That's irritating as fuck. You know, you buy it at Walmart, on sale, and then it's sitting there and it just turns into shit right before your eyes.
Any way I want to. I don't have to be perfect in the way I articulate my points.
Yes, okay. Well, you don't have to get to the point either. So, okay, we got that part established. Yeah, let's do some more of this boring guy.
Because the tiniest thing we're all made of is matter, and everything is matter.
Yeah, so what? Again, you already conceded the matter does this different form thing, and there's different shapes and different materials and different substances, and that's all a fact. So how does it make those facts go away? How does the fact that it's all matter make the fact that I'm conscious and have sensations, how does it make that unimportant and uninteresting and reasonably given notice. Take note.
So yeah, I have thoughts and I have ideas, and walls don't, but somehow they still aren't any different.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a good reason. Oh, I should have thought of that. The somehow. Oh, of course. Somehow. It doesn't mean anything. The meaningful thing happening doesn't mean anything. So somehow, when the organism in the jar is suffering in the jar, somehow, it doesn't mean anything when it's in space suffering. It only means something when I'm here paying attention. And more importantly, it means something if it's my son. Then it really means something. But it doesn't mean something if it's one of those people. Okay, yeah, that doesn't matter. How convenient. The somehow principle did it. Alright, that was so stupid that we'll go back to this for a little bit because yeah, we don't really want to we don't want to wallow in any one of these particular diseases too long, or we're going to catch something.
I don't have to. I'm not trying to, like, get everything right. I think.
All right, so you've had years of doing this philosophy thing. Don't you think there's some point where you really do want to get it actually correct? I mean, practice is good. I'm all for practicing, but you shouldn't do that forever. Should eventually get around to playing something, but the scales over and over again. Can't we have a real tune for a change? Alright, well that was really dumb, so we'll have to go back to the other retard, because I can't take too much of that shit.
In their true nature, in their inner self, they're made out of the same things. Yeah.
Right, okay, that's, you think I didn't know that, right? Okay, so you think I'm surprised. Wow, I never realized these things are all made out of atoms, molecules, periodic table. I never even heard of that before. I had no idea they're all made out of a chemical structure and that the chemistry has something in common and that the atoms are all made out of the same kind of constituent bits, and therefore it doesn't matter what form they're in because they're made out of the same thing. So it doesn't matter what form they're in because they're made out of the same thing, and it doesn't matter what form they're in, and it doesn't matter what properties they yeah, it does. Alright, that was too stupid.
Another thing when you're debating with you, inmendham, is that I think you don't allow people to just sort of talk about things.
Yeah, I have. My time's important to me. Okay, I know you got nothing but leisure now, but yeah, I value my time, and I really just hate wasting my time on drivel. And this sounds like a big bucket of drivel.
Actually scared to talk to you.
Yes, okay, can we get over all of this stuff, okay? And you're supposed to be making an argument about humans not being robots. Let's get to that part, because that's the part I'm interested in. Am I interested in this?
But anyway, so the point, I agree, yes, we have to be rational as much as we can when we create policies that are going to affect society, create laws, create rules. Yes, those we have to try and use our logic, our reason. But, and here's a big but, you can't think of logic as something that's very abstract or... I think one of the problems in your philosophy is that you don't give enough respect
to wasters. Yeah, that's right. I don't sit there and contrive an excuse to say it's okay to be a mess, it's okay to be a waster. That's right. And so all of us dysfunctional people, yeah, we have to earn our existence in a way. because that's just the truth of it. You just end up sucking up resources that could have been invested in something that might have done something besides moan and bitch and complain about how they can't function. Yeah, maybe that's what's bothering you. But logic is always going to apply stuff that's going to be just damn unpleasant. It just isn't going to make any sense. Logic's going to say, look into its sad little eyes and whack it with a shovel. Logic's going to say things like that, and that's just the truth. And yeah, it sucks. And it's not going to be emotionally fun. I've made that point before. Doing the right thing isn't going to be fun. I mean, if it worked that way, then we probably would have migrated to that kind of world already. We'd probably already be living in paradise if doing the right thing was fucking fun. But it's not. It's work.
Or enough value to human psychology. You're very
right. Again, so I made that point in the video, though. So this is sort of irrelevant. I said yes, you have to feed a gorilla a few bananas. Okay, you have to make some concessions to your fucking psychological weakness. But ideally, yeah, it'd be really great if you could be Mr. Spock and you could just turn it off, man. Just hit the switch and say, I'm not going to worry about the emotional shit. I'm just going to be one rational motherfucker. And I'm going to analyze situations, and I'm going to find the best solution, the best destiny, the best end product to end up in. And I'm going to head for that with reason and logic, and not mushy emotionalism. All right. Subjectively, personal emotionalism, even worse.
And the fact that there's no difference between a human being and a wall, that's pretty important. It doesn't mean that a wall is as important as a human being. No, definitely not.
Well, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean that a wall isn't is as important as a human being. You just said it doesn't matter, and now again you're back to saying it matters. That somehow the distinction is viewable, is seeable. You can now all of a sudden see it again. You see this vacillating, and you can't do that in the same video. You can't just in one sentence say it doesn't matter, and the next sentence say I recognize the difference. I recognize that it matters. You don't heal wounds on a wall because it can't hurt.
It's idiotic to say that because nothing has any importance for itself.
Again, that's just silly talk altogether. This self is the thing that's generating the value. So every self is generating it. You're not feeling my pain, newsflash, okay? And I'm not feeling the world's pain. That's just a fact. The people in the world, the animals in the world are feeling it. If I did feel it, then obviously there'd be a very different world because we'd all be screaming hysterically because we'd be feeling all of this pain. So that's not what's happening. And it's just silly to say that somehow my pain doesn't mean anything unless you acknowledge it. I don't need you to witness it. I don't need you to put a stamp of approval on it. I don't need you to do anything at all. It exists as a fact. Period. And that's true of my victims. If I rape and murder some woman in the dark some night and there's no witnesses but me or her, it doesn't mean she wasn't raped and murdered. Shit.
And nothing makes sense or nothing is useful just for itself.
Well, again, that doesn't even... Who cares? This isn't about what's useful. It's about what is. The very fact that stuff exists on this planet that's sentient doesn't imply or prove or demonstrate any kind of utility. Utility for what purpose? Nothing here is useful. Useful is irrelevant to this equation. The question is the value equation, not the utility equation.
Something can just be useful or good or bad or whatever for someone, not for itself.
Well, again, that's your jibber jabber. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Again, if I shot myself into space, I'm still feeling. It doesn't change a goddamn thing, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. A consciousness in complete isolation would still be a very loud instrument full of a lot of loud feelings that were important. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, this drivel. How do you think? You really think this was going to do anything but piss me off? Fuck. Now we'll do one more piece of this and I'll just get out of town. This is bullshit.
dismissive of an individual psychology. They think it's just subjective, it's mush, it's it's all of this sensitive woo woo whatever, and it's very dismissive. And I don't think you appreciate that our emotional side is what's it's almost like the most important side to us as a species, as a sentient organism.
Yeah, whatever, as a bug then, you're just saying, okay, yes, it's all our pre-programming, so all our bigotry, our senseless hate, our senseless pettiness, our competition, all the shit that makes us such wonderful fucking goddamn creatures is built into that emotional crap, and you sit there and want to glorify it. Fine, that's your fucking choice, lunatic. Alright, I'm not going to sit there and explain evolution to you, but there's nothing about your visceral emotional reactions that have anything to do with intelligence. They just have to do with making machines that are capable of stripping each other's skins off of and cannibalizing each other's corpses. You know, making your house out of somebody else's bones. That's all it's about. So you want to think it's about something else, that's your fucking choice. But what I'm saying is that's fucking the nature of idiocracy. Going back to being fucking monkeys is exactly what idiocracy is all about. Going back to being emotional asswipes who are glorifying their fucking feelings and their fucking goddamn bigotry. You're a fucking idiot. There. I said it. You're a fucking idiot. There. I said it. Let it be done. Yeah. Anyway, enough of this shit. And obviously it's shit. It's just shit. Mush. As properly described as silly, contradictory mush. Not really addressing a fucking thing I've said. I mean, I did explain to you, jackass, this whole thing. I did explain the whole value engine thing and the whole thing. And you just kind of ignored all that and just, I'm just going to ride my little tricycle right the fuck over all that crap and not pay any fucking attention and then call this some kind of response video when you didn't really respond to a motherfucking thing I said. You just ignored it. Anyway. Alright, let's jump ahead. We'll give them some slight chance. We'll just jump ahead and get over this fucking bullshit.
No God, no meaning of life. Procreation is morally wrong and such, but we also disagree on nihilism. But there's not one nihilism, that's the problem. There is one anti-nihilism and there is one materialism and one whatever. But nihilism...
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, I just don't see any point, okay? If nihilism is correct, then why would I waste any fucking emotional energy on worrying about things that don't have any value? I'm just saying it's a fucked-hearted, idiotic notion. The whole thing of you saying procreation is wrong and then saying I'm a nihilist is fucking retarded. It's a contradiction in terms, you stupid shit. Look that up on Google. Type in quotes, contradiction in terms, okay? Those two things really can't exist as fucking ideas because they're fucking goddamn conflicting descriptions of reality. Either it means something or it doesn't, jackass, but it can't do fucking both. Okay. Now, I feel I have sufficiently dealt with this. Yeah, fuck this. Fuck it. Anyway, till next time, such.